Hi, I'm Sharon. Eh, have you ever heard of that metaphor, crabs in a bucket? And crabs in a bucket is, you put crabs in a bucket, and then one tries to climb out, and the other ones grab the crab and drag it back in the bucket. And it's applied to social groups where the group uh, resents or sabotages the success of anyone trying to get out. And actually, if they wouldn't do that, they could all get out because they get kind of close or they could climb on each other. They could help each other out, but they don't. They just pull each other in and they just die in their own crabbiness. And if there's ever a group that the crab bucket metaphor could be applied to, it would be to white women. And, as a labor and delivery nurse of nearly 30 something, 35 before, I don't know, a long time, no one's in a better position to say that, yeah, you're just spit as a white woman right out, vagina to bucket. And immediately upon birth, um, life is a rivalry with your mother, for your father's affections, and in many. I mean, I'm not saying this is in all families, and this is a situation that supersedes the individual. Even if you as a mother try to shield your daughter from this, it's like that song by, is it Paloma Paris, where she talks about, even if I tried, I couldn't save my daughter. Because any individual mother is not generally going to be strong enough or enough to keep her daughter out of the bucket. Because no matter how hard you try, other people are there to shove her in the bucket all the time. And what this bucket, how this manifests. So if you live in a culture as a white woman, a culture of white male supremacy, all right? So that's the culture we're in. And I know it seems like, well, we're so privileged. Yes. But in the culture we're in of white male supremacy, hold on. I'm going to make them go away. In a culture of white male supremacy, we're not winning. White women aren't winning in our culture. Maybe we feel like, oh, I'm better than LaQuisha somewhere, but we're not winning in our culture. We're crabs in a bucket. And I had a recent experience online, and I've been online for a really long time. So I think I can, this is one of the umpteenth times I've witnessed this, experienced it, or just witnessed it happen to someone else. And so in this group, which is about, it's about music. And someone in the group, a woman, they were talking about different types of music that they found to use for, kind of healing when you're doing sort of healing meditations and more healing work. And so that's the purpose of this group, is music related to healing work, sound healing and other kinds of healing and playlists and things like that. And this one woman posted that she liked to use a certain method to create her playlists that were based on something. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't. And so she named something that, and immediately, a man named Josh. And I've seen a lot of these Joshes. I don't know. I said this to someone else. If there's one Josh or an army of Joshes out there, but it doesn't matter. But I see Josh hops in and says, back up your claims that this music is beneficial. Now, this is a generally super friendly group. I don't contribute to it much because I'm not an expert in healing music. I am a lurker there. But it's generally not the kind of a group. I mean, if you were face to face with somebody and you said to me, oh, I like to build playlists based on this, methodology, and I said, back up your claims. I mean, there's no nice way to tell someone to back up the claims for their beliefs, which is quote unquote what he said. Back up the claims for your beliefs. That's not that's fighting words. But here's what happened next. What happened next is someone answered his question with actually an AI screenshot of the answer to his question. Okay, because if he really was interested, he could just Google, right? He wasn't really interested. That's not the way if you find something, someone posts something and it's interesting, here's the etiquette. You should go Google it and learn a few things about it and then come up with some like educated questions. And then you can come back to the person and say, oh my gosh, I was just reading about that. You could ask about XYZ. But it is extremely rude when someone mentions a new thing on the internet and you're like, provide me all the research documentation on this topic, please. That's not polite. That's just wrong. Okay, if you didn't know that, I'm telling you now. Go look it up first and come back with some salient questions. But no, he did she said something. I like this methodology for arranging my playlists. And his response was, back up your claims for your beliefs. Such an interesting way. Back up, so do my labor for me. I'm too fucking lazy to go look up anything myself, bitch. You be my secretary. Claims. She wasn't making any claims. She wasn't saying, do this and you'll all be well. She said this was something she likes to do. You don't need to prove that. Claims. Claims is like a legal term. That's a debating word, claims. And beliefs, to minimize her thoughts and ideas into beliefs that could be debated. So, the rest of the conversation went really bad from there. Not mainly because this Josh. So then the person, me, said, Josh, I find your behavior unacceptable. And I don't appreciate your patronizing tone or your mansplaining or your aggressive nature here. So what happened next is the sociology study of a lifetime. What happened next is the women ran to Josh's defense. Well, the men did too. They were men. Oh, someone declared a gender war right away. Some man hopped in there and said, oh, it's a gender war. I'm picking the man's side. And the women ran to Josh's defense. I mean, there were some that said other things, but by and large, this group of predominantly white women ran to the side of Josh, including the woman that he attacked, who said, oh, no, it's okay. He didn't mean it. That wasn't his intention. And then the rest of the conversation, I didn't participate anymore, but the rest of the conversation was on what a troublemaker the person who stood up to Josh was. And I can only imagine in the background, because I've been in this dynamic before where I ran and was the man pleaser in the room. And it's because, I turned on the women to show the men I wasn't as dumb as them or as susceptible to emotions or irrationality or overreacting. I think from an early age, girls, especially white girls, we love to hear them say, oh, you're not like other girls. You're not like those other girls. You understand me. I mean, or whatever. We like to feel special. Because, for millennia, being special to a man was literally life or death. And I realize I'm super judgy too, because watching all these other white women rush to the side of poor Josh was just disappointing and predictable. And I've seen it in these rooms for, so many years, going on decades, that white women will shiv a sister in the back for the approval of a man and to get some biscuits and belly rubs and, reassurance you're not like those other women. And it goes to the fact that somehow we're spit out in this bucket and we just can't seem to support one another. even in the easiest of things. Anyway, that's on my mind today. I hope you're having a good day.